I'm not too concerned about safety. I think we're here to have a good time and hopefully stay responsible while we do it.
How UW students are feeling ahead of the Mifflin Street block party after a porch collapse injured multiple people last year.
Plus, an update on yesterday's BNSF train derailment in southwestern Wisconsin as Governor Evers tours the site. That's all coming up right now at 10.
It is a tradition for many UW-Madison students attending the annual Mifflin Street block party. That's set for tomorrow. And ahead of it, Madison police just want everyone to stay safe. A few people were hurt last year when a porch collapsed, sending at least 2 to the hospital.
Well, behind us is some of that aftermath from that collapsed porch. Ahead of the unsanctioned event, students we talked with are looking forward to a good time to celebrate the upcoming end of the semester.
I think it'll be like fun, especially before finals and studying. So it's just kind of like, this is a tradition that has been here for a long time. And like for the first time doing it, I'm super excited.
UW-Madison students might be used to jumping around on campus, but as Nicole Herzog explains, that's the opposite of what the Madison building inspectors and police want people to do during tomorrow's event.
There's a particular song that we're fond of here at UW. I'm kind of fond of it myself, but that gives officers something to think about.
Last year's Mifflin Street block party saw a porch collapse and other damage to homes in the area. That's why the city's building inspectors are asking people to err on the side of caution on Saturday.
When you have a lot of people crowded on a balcony that might all be jumping and dancing to the same song, you're creating a load that is not necessarily designed or intended to be supported by that structure.
The city's building inspection staff found 27 property violations in March as part of an annual inspection to prepare for the event. Since then, the building inspection director says almost all of those issues, like uneven steps and debris, have been resolved. But they can't check the entire property, only what they can see from sidewalks.
We really encourage people to use caution. We want the landlords and the property owners to work with their tenants to be responsible about the use of these spaces, because these tend to be our most unsafe situations that we get involved with.
Police also went door to door on Mifflin Street during the past few months to talk best safety practices with those who live there, and held a meeting with landlords and students to discuss property damage.
I mean, I don't think that that's a thing that students should be worried about. I think the landlord should be really worried about that and how, they treat the properties around here. What are students supposed to do, about reinforcing a structure as old as some of the houses here.
For News 3 Now, I'm Nicole Herzog.
Building inspectors, the Madison Fire and Police Departments will all be in the area for any immediate incidents tomorrow, and the city's housing inspectors will do a follow-up next weekend to check for any further damage.
Southern Wisconsin was treated to 2 days of warmth and sunshine, but a cool down and some wet weather are on the way for your weekend. Julian Seawright has your first one forecast.
That's right, Charlotte. It was gorgeous the last couple of days, especially for today. Many people took advantage of it by mowing the lawns and just enjoying the sunshine. And it's a good thing, too, because we now have some showers in our forecast and some cooler weather. So let's get right to it. Tonight is going to feel pretty good outside. It's 54 degrees right now, and we're not going to see those 40s until around midnight. But showers are going to start to develop overnight throughout much of southern Wisconsin, especially for us here in Madison. Tonight, our temperatures will fall only into around 44 degrees, 42 for Janesville, and about 46 for Platteville. We're going to see those showers again starting to develop overnight and lead into the early parts of our Saturday morning. We are looking for a break once we get into our Saturday evening as well. Temperatures will climb to about the lower 50s for us here in Madison, 54 for Janesville, and about 54 for Platteville. But speaking about that rain in itself, around 7, 8 o'clock, we got a lot of things that are happening on our Saturday. We are looking for Crazy Legs and even for the start of the Mifflin block party to be on the soggier side. We're looking for some showers throughout much of the early morning. Until about noon, we're going to see that the rain really be impacting much of southern Wisconsin. As we get into the rest of our Saturday, though, it's going to be on the quieter side. May see a couple of showers, but overall things will be quiet until we get to Sunday, where we have a mixture of potentially seeing some snow as temperatures start to fall and then warm up again, bringing in some rain throughout much of southern Wisconsin, which is going to be highlighting a cold yet pretty wet start to our Sunday, and then some more changes going into our Monday as well. We'll talk about the timing of everything in a few moments. Until then, back to you guys.
A contentious Dane County board meeting last night left Dane County Executive Joe Parisi's nominee for County Human Services Director fate in limbo. The board unanimously voted to reject Sheila Stubbs' nomination. One point of contention was about whether Stubbs would remain a state assembly representative while leading the Human Services Division. A newsletter from her office mistakenly said she would go on to hold both positions at the same time. Parisi is standing by his nominee, calling on the board to do better. Another committee will get the chance to weigh in on Stubbs' nomination next week.
Madison police are sharing more information tonight about why an Amber Alert was never issued for a young girl who was initially believed to be missing. That girl's not believed to be in any danger. She is with her father, Jose Duenas-Quinones, a murder suspect who fled to Mexico before the body of his wife was found inside her Southwest Madison business on Monday. Now, a department spokesperson said they needed time to determine the possibility if the child was with another family member. When that was not the case, they contacted the Wisconsin Department of Justice to start the Amber Alert process. Well, that can take hours to finalize, so in the meantime, the DOJ sent out a statewide crime alert bulletin for a missing child, which was later canceled when the FBI learned Duenas-Quinones had left the country with his daughter. He has been charged with murder, and a warrant is out for his arrest.
Cleanup efforts continued today near DeSoto after a freight train derailed yesterday, sending trains off the tracks and 2 into the Mississippi River. Governor Evers visited the site, meeting with local and state officials working with BNSF on removing those train cars. BNSF confirms 10 cars derailed. That is after initially 20 were said to be involved. 4 people suffered minor injuries. The train was carrying lithium-ion batteries, oxygen tanks, and paint, but all of those hazardous materials were contained and did not enter the river. The governor shared he was proud to see a strong local response.
They live here, they've got jobs, they're doing, they're going about their regular life, but they've also been trained to take care of things like this, and it's exactly what happened. So I think people should be very proud of how the response has been.
Rocks are being brought in from nearby quarries to build a platform that will help in the removal of those train cars. BNSF will be responsible for all cleanup costs. A cause of the derailment remains under investigation.
A bit different of a look for the end of the school year carnival at Henderson Elementary. In addition to games and rides, there were also fresh produce stands. Second Harvest Food Bank of Southern Wisconsin had representatives at the carnival there distributing fresh fruits and vegetables. It hopes to destigmatize families needing to use food banks, food pantries, and other distribution programs for access to healthy food.
The younger we can work with kids on understanding that nutritious food is important to everybody and should be accessible to everybody is great, and working with elementary schools gives us that opportunity.
Henderson Elementary has an indoor market accessible to school families at all times and does an outdoor market twice a month for the entire community. Governor Evers wants every Wisconsin student to be able to get a free breakfast and lunch at school. Included in his budget proposal is a plan to bring back a pandemic-era free school meal program for all kids permanently. The benefits that were in place during the height of the pandemic expired at the end of the last school year. 9 other states have adopted similar measures. Education officials say by allowing schools to offer free meals, it'll only help with their educational futures.
Hungry kids just can't learn at the same level that a student who's not struggling with that can. It's sort of a no-brainer, but also what a great opportunity to make a difference in these kids' lives.
Republicans on the state's budget writing committee are expected to strip many of the provisions from the proposal next week before writing their own. It's unclear if their plan will include any universal free school meals.
One of the commissioners with the Wisconsin Elections Commission says she will step down from that role next week. Julie Glancy was first appointed back in 2016 by then Governor Scott Walker, a retired Sheboygan County clerk. She says she wants to pave the way for someone who served as clerk more recently. She was appointed again last year under Governor Evers. He will choose her replacement from a list of former Democratic clerks. That person will have to serve the remainder of her term, which runs through 2026. Turning now to a developing story, as thousands of U.S. citizens are still believed to be in Sudan amid unrest there. The U.S. State Department says it is helping Americans evacuate.
Now, the 2 rival generals there in the midst of a power struggle, which has turned the country's capital into a war zone. CBS News' Dina Demetrius gives us a look at the evacuation efforts that are underway.
Drone video shows black smoke rising over a suburb of Sudan's capital, evidence of ongoing violence despite a truce between 2 warring generals. An estimated 16,000 U.S. nationals are living in Sudan. The State Department says it is doing everything it can to help those hoping to leave.
So far, fewer than 5,000 U.S. citizens have requested additional information from us. Of those, only a fraction have actively sought our assistance to depart Sudan.
Last weekend, the Navy's SEAL Team 6 helped airlift nearly 90 people out of the U.S. Embassy. Countries around the world are pulling their citizens out of Sudan.
We cannot guarantee travelers' safety, nor can we guarantee how long these departure options will be available.
The International Committee of the Red Cross is warning of a humanitarian crisis, with hospitals short on staff and medicine.
We estimate about close to 50,000 children who were being treated for malnutrition, who don't have access to that treatment.
But amid the devastation, a spark of positive energy. This baby boy was born in a car with the help of 3 hospital volunteers. The parents named him Mutansir, which means victorious. Dina Demetrius, CBS News.
New tonight, the Army is grounding its pilots for all non-critical missions until they complete a mandatory safety program in wake of a series of deadly helicopter crashes, including one this morning in Alaska. 3 soldiers died when 2 Army helicopters collided while returning from a training flight. Late last month, 9 others were killed in a training exercise involving 2 helicopters at Fort Campbell in Kentucky. The suspension of air operations is effective immediately. All active duty aviators must complete a 24-hour stand down and training by next Friday.
The FAA initially ignored its own engineers' recommendations to ground the Boeing 737 MAX back in 2019 after 2 fatal crashes killed 346 people. According to a new watchdog report released today, investigators found engineers at the FAA's Aircraft Certification Office overseeing Boeing recommended grounding the aircraft while the second deadly accident was being investigated. However, FAA officials opted not to ground the plane immediately, instead waiting 3 days until making a decision to do so. By that time, every other country in the world had already chosen to ground the aircraft. It was a grounding that ultimately lasted nearly 2 years. More local stories are ahead at 10. A homeowner captures video of a black bear near Mount Horeb.
What the DNR says you can do to prevent one from visiting your yard.
Why are there 2 extra seats? I know, Uncle Dane and his giant beard.
The Volkswagen Atlas with best-in-class third-row legroom. Visit your local Volkswagen dealer for 4.9% APR financing for 72 months on a new 2023 Atlas or Atlas Cross Sport.
Join the Circle of Life at the Lion King. Experience the world's #1 musical. Don't miss your chance to see The Lion King, one of the most awe-inspiring productions ever brought to life on stage.
Coming to Overture Center May 11th through 28th. Tickets on sale now at overture.org.
Spring into action and save on stressless seating at the Century House. Now get $400 off all classic power recliners, signature base recliners and ottomans, and cross base recliners and ottomans. And get $400 off most sofas and love seats. Imagine how much you can save building your dream sectional. Shop the Century House, 3420 University Avenue in Madison.
There are so many things we take for granted. So many things. And along with them, sometimes we take the people who depend on them for their survival for granted too. The elderly, disabled, the veterans, people on limited and fixed incomes, or folks that lost jobs in sectors hardest hit during the pandemic. How can they survive with record increases in their basic cost of living? Some people just can't come back. And through no fault of their own, they're being left behind, struggling to keep their heat, water, and power on. If you or someone you know needs a hand up, our heat, water, and power providers are working together to keep you safely in your home. You may not ask for it, but we're here to help.
Why are there 2 extra seats? I know, Uncle Dane and his giant beard.
The Volkswagen Atlas with best-in-class third-row legroom. Visit your local Volkswagen dealer for 4.9% APR financing for 72 months on a new 2023 Atlas or Atlas Cross Sport.
My Lord, these cramps. I better hope I don't have this baby on this beautiful couch.
Oh my God. Megan Trainor is on our special Mother's Day show with a possible surprise guest. Plus, new mom, Leona Lewis.
On the next Jennifer Hudson Show at 3. You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
Welcome back. Overnight, a Mount Horeb resident captured footage of a black bear wandering through the neighborhood. It was recorded just after 10 o'clock last night on North 8th Street. Here's a full look at what the video captured. There are an estimated 25,000 black bears in Wisconsin, the majority of which stay in more forested areas in the north and central parts of the state, but some are deviating from the group, obviously, according to the state DNR, and that's even more true for the younger cubs awaking from hibernation in search of food.
You know, they don't have Google Maps. They don't necessarily know where they're going. So sometimes as they're following their nose, you know, one will wander through a backyard or wander through town. And typically it's no cause for alarm.
And the experts say seeing black bears shouldn't be a cause for concern, really. Attacks are rare, but there are some things you can do to keep them away from your property. Some measures you can take include keeping your trash secure and clean, not leaving pet food out, and keeping bird feeders out of reach, or simply taking them down entirely. People experiencing homelessness with pets not only have to worry about caring for themselves, but also for their animals. And a nonprofit made that a little bit easier this afternoon at Warner Park. Physical exams, vaccines, flea, tick, and heartworm tests, those services and more were available to the pets of people experiencing homelessness. Best of yet, it was all done for free. This pop-up vet clinic is made possible by the Madison chapter of the Street Dog Coalition, a national nonprofit dedicated to providing free medical care to pets of people experiencing or at risk of homelessness. 4 clinics are held throughout the year, all at Warner Park, and the next one is scheduled for Friday, June 30th.
On this final Friday of the month, many here in the U.S. and nationwide are celebrating Arbor Day, planting trees to help create and build upon already existing green spaces. The Verona Public Library teamed up with the city's Parks and Urban Forestry Department to plant several trees outside the library this morning. Arbor Day originates from Nebraska City, Nebraska in the 1870s due to one resident who was extremely enthusiastic about trees. Now, more than 150 years later, it is celebrated in all 50 states and other countries around the world. A middle school student from Michigan is being called a hero tonight.
Yeah, that's right. He was riding the school bus home on Wednesday when the driver suffered a medical emergency and passed out. Now, as you see right here in this video, 7th grader Dylan Reeves grabs the steering wheel and uses his foot to step on the brake. The school district says the driver got a little lightheaded, lost consciousness. After bringing the bus to a stop, Reeves directed students on board to call 911 for help.
This was an extraordinary act of courage and maturity on his part. He jumped up from his seat, threw his backpack down, ran to the front of the bus, grabbed the steering wheel, and brought the bus to a stop in the middle of the road.
It was pretty amazing. No one was hurt. The bus driver is now recovering at the hospital. Reeves' parents say they're proud of their son, who they say is a quiet, shy young man who sticks to himself.
More communities along the Mississippi River are trying to stay afloat as flooding continues. This drone video is from Davenport, Iowa, where the river isn't expected to crest until Monday. It's already crested for some towns in western Wisconsin like La Crosse, but it'll still be days before it begins falling in some areas to the south. And to make matters worse for the towns still dealing with flooding, there is rain on the way, and Julian is here with the first warn forecast.
That's right, Charlotte, and that's been one of the biggest concerns heading into the weekend is that it's been dry for the last couple of days. Some areas have crested, some haven't, but now we're adding into more of that damage because we're looking at some more rain for this weekend. So let's talk about it. Getting straight into the Mississippi River levels. This is mainly for the areas near La Crosse as of right now, which began cresting for today. Now, again, folks, we're not looking for any kind of fall in terms of the height that we are seeing from these current levels until the next several days. And with the added rain, it could take even longer. We're going to be seeing for the areas just to the south, still going to take a little bit of time for areas like Iowa to be starting cresting. But we are going to see, as of right now, near Dubuque and McGregor, we are having some of those areas beginning to crest. But again, we're not going to be seeing those levels really fall back to normal. And some of these areas could take 2 to even 3 weeks estimated by forecasters. Now, getting into the weekend in itself, it's going to be quite a poppin' one for us here in Madison. Crazy Legs is the first event, and then we have the Mifflin Block Party. Well, you're going to want to be jumping around in some warm weather because we're going to, or warm attire, because we're going to be seeing those weather not being as warm. 40s are going to be for us, showers, and on top of it, is going to be rather breezy throughout the course of the day. So planning it out throughout the morning hours is when we're really anticipating to see any kind of shower activity for southern Wisconsin and for us here in Madison. Once we get into the afternoon, we'll warm up a bit into the lower 50s, but we do have a resurgence of more rain coming into our Sunday and potentially even some snowfall. So getting into our Saturday morning is our best opportunity to see widespread rain. Once we get into the afternoon, well, it's going to start to clear its way out. Heading into Sunday morning, temperatures are going to be near freezing for some areas and into the middle 30s, which means any precipitation we see first could be just some snowflakes rolling its way in, then mixing in with rain once we get into our Sunday afternoon and Sunday evening. It's going to be much colder for our Sunday, so make sure that you're prepared for those 40s after we just dealt with almost 70 degrees for us here in Madison. Now, we are expecting to see some showers, not just Saturday and Sunday, but going into our Monday around noon hour as well. We're only expecting around 1/4 to 1/2 inch of rainfall for Madison, but some areas, especially near Viroqua, could see about 3/4 of rainfall. And again, with the Mississippi River issue, not going to be helpful at all. So planning out tomorrow, lower 50s are going to be expected. Some showers for much of the area into the early morning. And once we get into the afternoon, we're going to be looking at that to start to fall apart. Overnights is the developments of showers. A line of showers are going to start to sweep its way throughout southern Wisconsin. Again, once we get to around the noon hour, it's going to pretty much be out of here. Could still see some lingering showers or pop-up isolated showers, but overall it's going to be rather quiet. Lower 50s, northwesterly winds, going to be rather chilly throughout the course of our Saturday, so the light jacket is definitely going to be necessary, but you won't need the rain gear for us here in southern Wisconsin as we get into our Saturday nights. Quick look at our weekend forecast. Much colder heading into Sunday, around 44 degrees for us. And again, we are still going to be watching for the mixtures of showers and even some snow. Then heading into next week, we are looking at a colder start. So Sunday and Monday, they're the days that you just don't want. But then as we get to Tuesday, Wednesday, and for the rest of the week, finally going to see those 60s starting to pop up and even some more sunshine.
Okay. Looking forward to that. Julian, thank you. The Stanley Cup playoffs are going on right now. A Hollywood actor could soon be part of an ownership group for one of the league's 32 teams. Ryan Reynolds, best known for playing Deadpool and other roles, is part of a real estate group preparing to make an offer of more than $1 billion to buy the Ottawa Senators. A deadline of May 15th has been set for all interested groups to submit their final offers. Wouldn't be the first time that he's experienced part of a professional ownership group. He and actor Rob McElhaney are both co-owners of the Welsh soccer club Wrexham AFC. Zach?
And coming up in sports, the Badgers are off the board, where Keanu Benton and Joe Tippmann were picked and how they made history in the process. That's next on News 3 Now.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
Dear Exit Strategy, all your pieces are in place. Thanks for being there when I need you most. Always Toyota SUVs. Toyota. Let's go places.
As a veteran of our country's armed services, you have already made the ultimate sacrifice. Why should you have to continue to do that? Through no fault of your own, you may be experiencing hardships, such as the inability to pay rent, utilities, or receive other life-sustaining services. And once again, you're called upon by your family to serve and protect. We want you to know we are here to support you. The Veterans Rental Assistance Program was created by and for people living in Wisconsin, with benefit approvals being issued to veterans in just days, not months. It's not easy to ask for a hand up, but we are clear in our mission. No Wisconsin veteran should ever have to face homelessness or lose heat, power, or water again. 833-WISC-VRAP. That's 833-947-8727.
Trust your feet to Morgan's Shoes.
Birkenstock ushers in a new collection with clean lines, easier than ever closures, and the most necessary footbed in your closet. Slide into Morgan's Shoes and shop our new Birkenstock arrivals. See what's fresh for spring and summer. Birkenstock platforms and wedges, cork-powered sneakers, or up your game with our iconic men's and women's sandals.
Comfort with style. Trust your feet to Morgan Shoes.
Morgan Shoes, Hilldale.
If you've got the TV volume way up right now, then you really need these. These tiny but powerful little hearing aids are the Nano CIC Recharge, priced at only $297 for a full pair. These are not simply amplifiers. These are ultra high quality, ultra reliable hearing aids, priced thousands less than other hearing aids. They fit right in your ear. Nothing shows in the back of your ear. Payments as low as $36 a month.
1-800-276-3995.
We went to Ho Chunk Gaming Madison last night.
I don't really get how the jackpots work.
Ho Chunk Gaming Madison actually has had multiple million-dollar winners.
There are linked progressive slot machines at the same casino where local players increase the jackpot amount.
And a standalone progressive jackpot increases when a player plays on an individual machine that isn't linked to any other machine. Ho Chunk Gaming Madison. More ways to win. Find your perfect jackpot.
Ho Chunk Gaming Madison.
Dear Exit Strategy, all your pieces are in place. Thanks for being there when I need you most. Always Toyota SUVs. Toyota. Let's go places.
The top-ranked center in the draft didn't have to wait very long to hear his name called on day 2. Joe Tippmann was selected by the Jets with the 12th pick in the second round, becoming the highest drafted Badger since JT went 41st overall in 2020. 6 picks later, another Badger was off the board. The Steelers took Keanu Benton 49th overall. It's the first time a pair of Badgers were taken in the second round since 1995. The Janesville Craig product set career highs in tackles, TFLs, and sacks last season. The Packers went offense in round 2, taking tight end Luke Musgrave from Oregon State with their first pick in the second round, and then followed that up with Jaden Reed, a wideout from Michigan State, 8 picks later. Leroy Butler said it best when he was announcing the pick, saying, quote, "Jordan Love, we got some help for you in the third round." Green Bay drafted Tucker Kraft from South Dakota State. For the 12th time in the last 13 years, the Packers selected a defensive player in the first round of the draft yesterday, and they also picked up a guy by the name of Hercules. At 6'5", 275 pounds, Lucas Van Ness looks like a Greek god. And on the field, the Iowa defensive end lives up to it, throwing opposing quarterbacks around with his superhuman strength. And you could say the newest member of the Packers is a big fan of his nickname.
Honestly, I think it's, very fitting, and, I think it kind of gives me someone, to idolize, and, it makes me laugh sometimes when people call me that, but, it's something that started between some of my teammates kind of mentioned my physique and my body, and I've always, paid a lot of attention to my body health and the weight room. I love to work out, so honestly, it's a cool nickname, and it could be worse.
The Brewers and the Cheese Man hosting the Angels this weekend. Tied at 1 of the 8th, and Rowdy Tellez rips one down the first base line to bring home the game-winning run. The Crew beat the Halos 2-1, the final. And Steve Stricker down in Texas on the Champions Tour, and he caught that birdie fever in round 1. On 9, the Edgerton native sinks the putt to drop to 3 under on the day. Then after a birdie on 15, Strick would go back-to-back. He finished with 5 chirpers. He's 4 under, tied for 6th. Fellow Wisconsin native Jerry Kelly sits 1 under after 18 holes. We're back after this.
Every single day, we help families that have been tragically impacted in truck crashes. And you'll never pay us a fee until we win your case. Truck crash? Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
At Weedman Lawn Care, we believe that a lush, beautiful lawn should be enjoyed by the whole family. That's why we offer a kid and pet-friendly program to create a healthier, greener, weed-free lawn that your whole family can enjoy. Our program includes effective applications of targeted weed control and slow-release golf course quality fertilizer to achieve real results. Call or click today for your free quote, or sign up now and see the Weedman difference. Doesn't your family deserve a Weedman lawn?
Why are there 2 extra seats? Are we getting 2 Great Danes? I know, giant Uncle Dane and his giant beard. Maybe a dragon. Twin sisters, and one is a robot and one is a knight. And I'll be on the side of the octopus.
The Volkswagen Atlas with best-in-class third-row legroom. Visit your local Volkswagen dealer for 4.9% APR financing for 72 months on a new 2023 Atlas or Atlas Cross Sport.
I had a lot of bad days with gout, but that one took the wedding cake. Even with medicine, my uric acid was still too high to stop painful gout buildup. Then a gout specialist told me about Cristexa.
Cristexa is a prescription medicine for adults with gout whose symptoms are not controlled by other gout medicines.
I learned Cristexa quickly starts working to break down gout buildup.
Cristexa is an infused medicine. Serious life-threatening allergic reactions can occur while taking Cristexa. Tell your doctor right away if you have symptoms such as shortness of breath, trouble breathing, dizziness, itching, or swelling of the throat or tongue. Cristexa is not recommended if you have high levels of uric acid without a history of gout. Do not take Cristexa if you have a rare disorder called G6PD deficiency or favism. Before receiving Cristexa, tell your doctor if you have a history of heart problems and all the medicines you take. Cristexa may cause gout flare-ups, allergic reactions, nausea, bruising, sore throat, constipation, chest pain, and vomiting.
I received Cristexa for about 6 months. Now I'm in control, not gout.
Find a doctor who specializes in gout at goutdocnow.com.
Need life insurance? SelectQuote found Jacob, 40, a $500,000 policy for only $19 a month. And SelectQuote found his wife, Wendy, a $500,000 policy for only $17 a month.
SelectQuote. We shop, you save.
You are a friend, a neighbor, a family at heart. We are Gruber Law Offices, your ally and your advocate. If you've been injured in a trucking accident, you need Gruber Law Offices to fight for you. One call, that's all.
Channel 3000 Plus. Watch from your streaming media player or mobile device.
Hey, big shout out, Joe Tippmann, my fellow Fort Wayne, Indiana guy, gets to be the center now for Aaron Rodgers, huh?
Yeah, that's still a little weird. Still a little weird.
Wisconsin connections the Jets have drafted. Final check of the forecast.
Well, folks, be prepared for some cooler and rainy weather on and off throughout our Saturday. Saturday morning is going to be the worst part in terms of the rain, but we'll see 50s once we get to the afternoon. Heading into Sunday, though, it's a bit of a mess. It's going to be windier. It's also going to be quite wet, mixing in with some rain. May see a couple of snowflakes. Not looking for the snow to accumulate, but the 40s will hang until we get into Tuesday. And then we are going to be warming back up to those 60s, which is what we're looking for in the first week of May.
All right, Julian, thank you. Thanks for joining us for News 3 Now at 10.
Do something good and have a great weekend.